Alright, thank you so much for being here. This is the last video about the Wikipedia stuff for researching and, the importance of Wikipedia as far as research goes. Now let's talk a little bit. Change over time. That's been a reoccurring theme in these videos. Things do change over time on Wikipedia. I showed you this with the Richard Nixon article between 2001 and 2013. Why is this important? Well, if you pull information from 2001 and you write a paper about Richard Nixon, and then you use that paper as a writing sample to get into graduate school, and it's reviewed by a committee, a graduate committee, and they can't find the information anymore, you're going to look like a poor researcher. So change over time is something very important to consider when using information from Wikipedia. It's the #1 reason why you shouldn't pull information directly from a Wikipedia entry and cite the Wikipedia address. For instance, you wouldn't cut anything off of here, paste it into your paper, and then cite nwikipedia.org. Okay, remember, because of the change over time. It's not about being true or false or right or wrong or biased or whatever. It's about change over time. Change over time is the most important reason beyond the scope of all of that. Don't do it because it may not be there in the future. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Now, like I said, common practice, students looking over this stuff right here will cite the information at the top of the Wikipedia entry and then cite the Wikipedia entry itself. As far as Richard Nixon goes, and this may work out for other Wikipedia entries, the information in the top paragraphs is the general information about the entry, in this case Richard Nixon. All the information here is pretty much so public knowledge. It's not really too heavily researched. There's not a lot of detail and everything like that, but it is common knowledge for the most part, depending on who you're talking about. For instance, if you're talking to a military buff, they may know about Nixon being in the Navy, okay? If you are talking to somebody who is a Chinese history buff, they will talk a lot about Nixon's trip to China. Okay, so it's common information here. So this is good for building a base. This is good for building a foundation of information so you can converse with others and learn more about the topic. But it is common knowledge. So you wouldn't cite common knowledge anyway in a paper. It's already inferred that the person writing the paper and the person reading the paper have that same sort of common knowledge. So that's why that's another reason why you wouldn't cite anything from there. All right, but the primary reason for these first 4 paragraphs and their primary use as far as research goes is to build that foundation. Okay, that foundation is important. If you have this foundation, you know that you can go and you can learn more information about the topic. You know that these links in Wikipedia link out to other topics pertaining to this topic. So it's a good way to build a web of information, a web of knowledge, and gain a greater perspective of the person, place, or thing that you're researching, which is important. Now, the body of the wiki entry. This is where a lot of the research that is done on the wiki page is presented. Students may copy information from here, cite Wikipedia, and throw it in the paper. Well, that's just poor research right there, right off the bat, because a lot of this information, especially in the Nixon article and other featured articles, is referenced to a primary or secondary source, and this source is noted right next to the fact that is presented. For instance, I highlighted this one, and it links out to Morris, page 89. If I click on the note, it will take me down to the list of all the notes. I would then click on Morris, and it would give me the book written by Morris for the information. So if you pulled information out of the body of the Wikipedia entry, you would want to cite the primary or secondary source. Now this is where we talk about good research practices versus bad research practices. Okay, is it a good research practice to go off of what Wikipedia puts out there as far as page numbers and references for information in the Wikipedia entry? No, it's kind of murky, right? If you went and you grabbed this Roger Morris book and you went to that page number and that information wasn't there, good for you for being a thorough researcher. If you decided not to and you just wanted to throw the Roger Morris book into your paper and put the page number there, the person grading your paper may be none the wiser. However, if they decided to go and backtrack, get that book, find the information, and it's not there, you're going to look really, really bad. Okay, so it's important not to just pull page numbers out of the citations that are presented in Wikipedia articles. They may be correct. Who knows? All right, it's up to you as a researcher to figure it out. So if you wanted to, you can get that Morris book, go to page 89, and see if that information is there in some way, shape, or form. Now, if you are a diligent researcher and you find a piece of information here, okay, and you really, really, really want to use it in your paper, you're going to go the high road. You're going to take the high road and you're going to get that information. Now, how do you do it in a primary source? That's a book. Real easy. Go ahead, Click on the note that's referenced to the fact that you like. Click on the author's name in the list of notes. And then an ISBN number is attached. Now, this is a featured article. There are a lot of print materials attached to the Richard Nixon featured article. Some articles may not have print materials attached to them, so this works out really well, and this is why I use the Richard Nixon article. Now, if the information you pull is linked out to a book, you will know it's a book because it has an ISBN number. It's in print, which means you can actually get a physical copy of it if you'd like, or maybe even a digital copy in some cases. In order to find out, though, you got to take that ISBN number, copy it, go up to Amazon or half.com or eBay or wherever you want to go, but Amazon works pretty well. Paste in that ISBN number, hit enter, and it will search for you. Now, you can buy this book for a penny. Okay, it's not even worth the paper it's printed on. Okay, that's kind of bad. That's horrible to say, but you can buy this book if you wanted to for a penny. Now, if a book is $1 or $2 or something like that, and you're not procrastinating, my suggestion to you as a researcher is to buy the book. Put 25 bucks, 50 bucks in a jar for your research papers. Buy these books. Get them. Read them. Put them on your bookshelf. When people come over and they see these books, they're going to be like, man, you read a lot. You know a lot about history. That's awesome. You should see my bookcases loaded with history books. It's important. So if the book is cheap, buy it. And then you can go back out to page 89. And let's double check because I want to make sure. You can go back out to page 89, take a look at page 89, and actually see if that information is there. And if I'm not mistaken, this is where the citation was right around in here somewhere. Right. Page 89. Here we go. Page 89. You can go to page 89 of the Morris book because it's only a penny. It's probably like $2.50 shipped. And you can go to page 89 and see the information's there. All right, and you can probably get more information out of that book, and then you could cite a ton of stuff in your paper from that book, which is pretty cool. So that is the high road. That is the research practice you want to take if you find something compelling in a Wikipedia entry that you want to utilize for your paper. Remember, click on the note, click on the author in the list of notes, get the ISBN number, copy, paste it into Amazon, and then click on the book and buy it. Okay. Don't go off of what's in the wiki entry. It may be correct, it may not. It's up to you, though, as a thorough researcher to figure that out on your own. Okay? Take the high road if you're researching. Go the distance, buy the book, learn some more information. Now, as you scroll through the Wikipedia entry, obviously, like I said, featured article, ton of information here. A lot of it is referenced. Not all of the references are print materials, like books, with the ISBN numbers attached. Some of the material is referenced to digital sources. You can scroll down here to the very bottom of the Wikipedia page, right below in the references section. Right here is a really good place to find information, secondary source information that is digital, that you can get off of the internet, review on your own, and then cite through, citation formats, MLA, using easybib.com or Citation Machine for your paper. For instance, there is an article, I keep forgetting it. There's the Nixon Resigns one, but there was one over here I clicked on earlier that I really thought was kind of cool. I can't find it here. Of course, whenever you want to find something, it's not there, right? So, but if you come down here, the other sources section, it may be listed different in other entries. Anything that has a blue hyperlink attached to the title. Okay, a blue hyperlink attached to the title of an article typically leads out to that article on the internet. Isn't that cool? So then you can just read this article, run it through Citation Machine or easybib.com in MLA format, and put it in your paper after you've cited the materials in it, which is pretty cool. So it's a good springboard for secondary source material. Let me tell you, is it a good research practice to use digital sources that are found on Wikipedia to help you out in your research? Absolutely. If you can click on something here and have it linked out to a digital source that's on the internet, and you can get that information right then and there without having to spend hours upon hours searching through Google's amazing search capabilities, by all means, go for it. It's not hurting anyone. It's truly not. Let me tell you why, and this is a perfect example of this. Here we have the Nixon Library, okay? If you go to the Nixon Library, obviously, you're going to get a ton of really good information on Richard Nixon. It's the man's library and museum, okay? But if you're a student researching Richard Nixon and you go to Google, so let's do this. Let's go to Google. Hey, Google, what's happening? And we type in Richard Nixon. What comes up? Well, we got the Wikipedia pages first. Surprise, surprise. WhiteHouse.gov, History.com, some YouTube videos, Nixon Foundation, Presidents of the United States Internet Public Library, IMDb, Internet Movie Database, okay? And then if you go to page 2, on page 2, not even in the first 10 results, is the Nixon Library. What does this mean? Well, if you're a student and you're Googling something, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Chances are you're impatient like me, or you're procrastinating, maybe it's the last minute, and you're looking for information on a topic. If it doesn't pop up in the first 10 sources, you may try a different search string. If you have no idea that Richard Nixon has a library, you might not find out that Richard Nixon has a library because it's not popping up in those first 10 results. Okay? It's a common thing. It happens. I've seen it happen. You've probably done it. I've done it. Everybody's done it. You give up after the first 10 results. But if you come over here to Wikipedia, the information's there, right? It's not that it's there, but there's a link there. It's like, wow, what is this Richard Nixon Presidential Library Museum? I can click on this. Oh, cool. This is something you might not have found if you just Googled it, okay? So that's another important fact to consider, too. So remember, let's just do a quick review because I don't want to keep you here too long. Wikipedia entries. Common practice that students do is copy stuff from here and cite the Wikipedia article. You can't do that. Remember, you can't do it because it changes over time. Forget the fact if it's right or wrong. It may not be there tomorrow, so then you're going to look like a pretty poor researcher. Remember, though, these first paragraphs at the top, this is the general knowledge. You can get a good bit of information about your topic here. You can branch your research out into other topics, too. You create that web of knowledge, so it's pretty important. You can definitely have a good conversation with somebody if you read this information and you understand it, and that's what it's good for. Conversation, general knowledge, building the foundation. The information in the body of the Wikipedia entry, if it's a featured article, there are a featured article. If it's a featured article, there are a ton of citations. Remember, if you find something that's in a book, take the high road. Go on Amazon. See if the book's a quarter or a penny in that book, in that one book's case. Buy it, read it, put it on your shelf. Cite anything you want from it. But remember, take the high road. Don't just assume that this information is 100% correct. If you like it, you love it, you want it in your paper, and you're not procrastinating, buy the book, have it shipped, double check, make sure it's good, and then put it in your paper. And then if you have no idea where to begin your research, remember you can always come down here to the very bottom of the Wikipedia article underneath the reference section. And the digital materials, the secondary source digital materials in most cases, are linked out with a hyperlink to the article. And you can obviously click on those links, load up the articles, read the information as you would any other researcher, or as you would for any other bit of research, and cite the information properly using an MLA procedure, and then using software such as EasyBib or Summit Citation Machine. So that's it. Remember, don't cite anything directly from Wikipedia. The first 4 paragraphs or whatever at the top, that's your information. General knowledge, commit it to memory, learn about it, branch your information out about a topic, or that web of knowledge. Definitely want to utilize that. ISBN numbers are attached to books. You can buy the books on Amazon. Chances are the books are dirt cheap. Build a collection of books. People will think you are incredibly smart. It's cool, it's awesome. And remember, the secondary source materials down at the bottom are typically digital, and it's a great way, a great springboard for your research, okay? Use Wikipedia as a tool. Use it the proper way. Remember, you wouldn't use a chainsaw to cut a piece of paper, okay? You would use a chainsaw to cut down a tree, and you would use it safely, all right? Use Wikipedia right, use it safely, and it will definitely help out your abilities as a researcher, and it will definitely help you write a better paper. Have a great one. Thank you so much for watching the videos. If you have any questions, you can leave them here on the YouTube comment section.